Hi, welcome back to FasTrax. We're with Chris here, and he's got a beautiful F85. Chris, tell me about your car.
It's a 1965 Oldsmobile F85. So I bought it about 9 years ago. So it was a complete restore, like frame off. It took 3 of them to make one. So I always loved the Oldsmobile line, but I had an Olds Cutlass 83, 84. And that one didn't last very long to rebuild. So when I came out here in 09, I was looking for another project and ended up looking at a couple different ones. You know, everybody owns Chevelles and Novas, and so I wanted something a little different that nobody's really seen. And until I found this one, I really didn't even know what an F85 was. You know, I knew the Cutlass line, so I decided to take a chance, and didn't realize how hard it was to find parts. So basically everything in this was either hand rebuilt by myself or I had the body work done by somebody else. But I did all the frame and everything else. All the interior was built in the garage. Everything was restored as best as I could get it.
Right.
So I tried to keep it looking as original as possible. So all the chrome on it is original, except for the bumpers have been re-chromed on it. Right. So all the other trim is original that came off the car. Back when I started to restore, yeah, it took 9 years. So the wife was a little upset that she doesn't get garage parking, but
I don't know anything about that.
no, I know they never seem to like that too much.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. So let's just move around here a little bit. So this is your car.
Yep.
Tell me a little bit about the car, the color, the choices you made on the car, and why.
Well, the color is based on the original factory paint code. So the paint code was an orange, blue ocean mist turquoise.
Yep.
So it's an updated paint, but it's based off the original factory code. And then the interior this was originally a column shift.
Yep.
And I found buckets and I found the console for it, so I decided to change it to a bucket console car. Just personal preference, I like that style a little bit better.
Of course.
Upgraded all the braking system, went from 4-wheel disc from the 4-wheel drum brakes. Upgraded all the suspension. The factory suspensions were not always that great on them. These cars had a tendency to always lean to the left. So when I did further investigation and went through some old parts, I found all the shims that originally were in the left side.
Yeah.
So I didn't like the lean, so I decided to upgrade all the suspension on it. Other than that, I tried to keep it looking as original as possible. Other than that, a lot of work.
Yeah.
9 years.
You upgraded the suspension. What'd you put in there for suspension?
The QA1.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, QA1 with coilovers, so they're all fully adjustable. Yeah, it didn't have the rear sway bar in it, so now it does.
Excellent. The tires, obviously.
Yeah, got all the 15-inch. They're only 2 years old. American racing wheels I put on there.
Yeah.
So I still have the original hubcaps, so I've been trying to figure out how to put them back on.
It's a resto mod. It's not a stock car, right?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, I originally had the V6 in it, and that wouldn't even make it up the driveway. So when you call around and try and get them to rebuild a 1965 V6, they just kind of chuckled. So nobody really wanted to do that. So
absolutely. Still
on the hunt for the Oldsmobile engine, but for now it's got the Chevy crate in it.
Right. And the exhaust system in it is?
It's based on the original factory exhaust.
Okay.
So it came as a kit from OPGI in the States.
Yep.
So other than those slight modifications up near the front for the headers, everything else is based off a factory dual exhaust system.
Excellent. And it's obviously not a daily car. It's a summer joy car.
Yeah, it does not see rain. It doesn't see really cloudy days.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's usually all just for shows.
Absolutely.
It originally started out to be built as just a hot rod, and I guess I got a little carried away.
Well, that's unusual for car guys, right? We never get carried away on our cars, right?
No, they always tell you, just, don't get too nuts, and then by the time you're done, you realize you went a little nuts.
Yeah, always a little nuts. Always a little nuts. Yeah. Well, it's a beautiful car. It's in beautiful shape. Yeah, wonderful. So the interior, you said wasn't stock.
No, the dash and everything is. Bought new panels for it, so you can't really re-vinyl them.
Yep.
So the console I found in, somebody had a seat can that was getting rid of all the Oldsmobile parts.
Yep.
So I found the console in there. It's been hard finding an original shifter. I did find a couple, but nobody knew how to take the pins out, so they always broke the rabbit ears on it.
Yeah.
So I ended up having to switch it to a B&M. Just too hard to find an original one in good shape.
Yeah.
I didn't like the green interior, so I went back to the black.
Right. Good.
Just to give me a little bit different contrast to that. But no, the wife helped me put the interior together in the living room.
That's always good.
Yeah, see, that didn't impress her either. So a couple bumps and scrapes trying to get all those seat covers on.
Yeah.
So I still hear about that to this day.
Absolutely. And all the trim, obviously, it's beautiful shape. Did you have to find trim from someplace else, or was this with the car?
Most of it was with the car. I had a couple broken pieces. So again, I had to have 3 of them to make one for all the new fenders and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Replace a hood. Most of the trim is all factory, like with the car. It's been polished. I mean, it's 58 years old now, so the only thing that was really redone were the front rear bumper. Right. They were all re-chromed, but the rest of it is all original chrome. It's been polished, but not really any major repairs to it.
Yeah. Tough to find chrome like that on a car today. I mean, if you need to find a piece, you're hunting for a while.
Yeah, to try and find the one broken piece took me about 2 years to find, and basically had to buy another car just to get it.
Yep.
So, and all 3 of them were built in Canada. So when you order parts, there's actually a difference between the American version and the Canadian version.
Yep.
Even though they're basically the same car, there's subtle little differences.
Absolutely.
So when you order them, there was a couple times ordering parts where they send me out the wrong stuff.
Yeah.
And then that's when they determine, oh yeah, yours is a Canadian built one. So they would send out the right ones.
Yeah.
So a little bit of trial and error.
Absolutely. Hit and misses. Yeah. I remember back when I was a teenager, my brother, older brother and I decided we're going to do a car together, build a car. We decided on a 73 Celica.
Oh yeah.
So we bought 2 of them. One is the car, one is a donor.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing. If you didn't, you're going to be hunting for parts. You're going to be hunting for everything. So.
Right. There's a lot of the parts because it's an A body, so a lot of the suspension and steering parts all come off with the Chevelles. So there's some of those you can get, but when it comes to body panels and stuff like that, there's not even rebuild body panels for this. Yeah. Like no patch panels available. And they were never considered a collector car back then. So it wasn't until like they started hitting, I think 67, that the 442 model started becoming a collector car. But in these years, they were not. So there is the odd little thing out, but not a lot. Most of it is because it'll fit a Chevelle. Yeah. So they can make it for this one too.
Well, it's like anything else. You're saying it wasn't considered a collector at the time. How many of us bought cars, got rid of them not knowing, drove the bag off them,
oh yes,
and all of a sudden you're saying, if I only had that car. I mean, my dad said the same thing about a few cars he had back in the day, and he always said, God, beside those cars, it'd be worth a fortune today, and you didn't know.
Nope.
How do you know what's going to be a collectible, right?
Well, that's it. All the cars I've owned over the years when I was younger, and even chances that I had to buy them for cheap. Yep. Now, you'll never get them for that price because everybody wants them, right? That's right. So, you could buy one of these for $1,000, 30 years ago. Yeah. Not no more.
No.
Now everybody's rebuilding them, so now the price is going up.
Has it been appraised?
This was appraised.
You said 90, right?
93,000.
93,000, yeah.
Yeah, I was fantastic. A little impressed with that, so a little surprised. But in reality, that's pretty much what I got into it, between paint, body, labor, parts. Yeah. So there's
and that's not even equating for your sweat equity and your love and your time. I mean, you put that into there, and there's a lot invested in this car. So
yeah, there's a lot of time. It was 9 years rebuilding it. I did it all in my garage. Yeah. So taking the frame off in one spot and body in the other, and then it sat there for a while getting rebuilt. So now you're trying to stop the kids from hitting it when they go in and out of the garage.
Yep. Walk sideways, guys. Walk sideways. Yes. Yep. Yeah, I get that.
Very much so, yeah. Yeah, I've had it since I bought it in, I think, 2013. So it was almost 10 years to get it on the road, or 9 years to get it on the road. Yeah. So last year was its first year out. So there's a few tweaks driving it, and I needed to realize, okay, I need to fix this. This doesn't run right. Mm-hmm. So it took a few months to get that back in order to get it where it was running like it is now. Yeah. But other than that, I'm pretty happy with the outcome. As I said, there's always tweaking you can do, and things you find that, I should have done this differently, but
Yeah.
You know, there's got to be a point you just stop.
You have to, yeah. And then
know?
just enjoy the car. And that's something I asked you last year. What's it like in getting this car after putting 9 years into it and driving it?
It's really hard to describe. I mean, it's one of those things where you spend that much time and then you're really nervous when you first get it out.
Yeah.
You know, hopefully nobody's going to hit you. Hopefully nobody's going to, pull out in front of you. So it's really nerve-wracking that way.
Yeah.
But the excitement of finally getting out on the road, taking it for its first drive, and then hitting your first car show.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, everybody's got their preference on what they like. I just needed to do something different that people hadn't really seen before or don't really remember. It's always a shock, when you get some of these guys, I own one of these brand new.
Yeah.
So that's kind of nice, the people that, my dad owned one or I owned one, so it's kind of nice to hear.
Absolutely.
People seeing them back out on the road and, I haven't seen these for years. And then you get a lot of people that just have no idea what it is.
Yep.
But you mentioned Cutlass, and I know what a Cutlass is.
Yep.
Well, F85 was the platform for the Cutlass when it came out in '65.
Yeah.
So I had one of these that was actually all labeled Cutlass.
That's pretty spectacular, you guys. This is what this channel's about. Cars like this, people like this who love the car, have passion for the car. This is fantastic. Thank you so very much for your time. I do appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Okay.